Slot ball has arrived. Liverpool were unbelievable in that second half. They were playing some really good attacking, free-flowing football where Gravenberch and Szoboszlai, they just grew into that game in the second half. And Slot made a really good tactical change with Trent, Gravenberch and Szoboszlai that I'm going to get into more detail about in that second half, which I just think completely changed the dynamic of Liverpool in that second half. And I think Ipswich were the better team in the first half. It was night and day, that first and second half performance from Liverpool. Liverpool were not good in the first half. I was rooting for Ipswich. I was thinking, oh, maybe Ipswich can do this. But Liverpool just came out in the second half, unbelievable. And to be fair to Liverpool, 2-0's flattering for Ipswich. Liverpool could have won that game 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. How Diaz did not get a goal today shocks me. Salah could have had 2. Jota probably could have had another. Bradley could have even got 1 right at the end there. I mean, the football Liverpool was playing, I hate to say it, but it was phenomenal that second half. And look, Liverpool weren't great in the first half, but the way I look at it is, as a Man United fan, one of the fixtures I did not want for the opening day would have been Ipswich away. Now, Ipswich haven't lost at their stadium for about a year now. Obviously not been in the Premier League, they've been in the Championship, but they are relentless at the stadium. That is their first game of the Premier League in like 20-something years or something. You know, that stadium, their fans are up for it. It's a very difficult occasion to go to, particularly Liverpool with a new team, a new manager, no new signings as well, which doesn't help Liverpool. I think, the first 45 minutes I thought was always going to be tough for Liverpool, and I think Ipswich are going to actually probably finish. I think I predicted them to finish 13th, 14th. I don't think they're going to have a bad season. They just lacked that quality in the final third, which probably helped Liverpool. Obviously, Kwanzaa didn't really have his guest game. Konate came on. He was an absolute beast in that second half, as always. But I thought that performance from Liverpool in the second half was brilliant. And I think the changes that Slot made, if I was a Liverpool fan, I'd be really happy with that. Not just the performance I saw in the second half, but seeing that Slot had made some changes, realised the approach wasn't quite working versus Ipswich. He's not naive. He doesn't stick with it. He's like, no, we're going to do something differently. And what he did really is it was more the positions that Trent was picking up. It was more that Gravenberch was coming more to the left, and Trent, Salah and Szoboszlai were linking up so well on that right-hand side. And you were so lethal down that right-hand side. Salah, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch and Trent were probably the best 4 players in that match. The fact that Liverpool needed a goal and Trent played about 5 or 6 passes, bang on the money, brilliant passes, and created like 3 huge chances for Liverpool. Well, not huge chances, but 3 chances for Liverpool in the space of about 5 minutes. That just shows his quality to just break a game. Gravenberch was phenomenal. He's not a natural number 6. I can see why Liverpool needs Subamende or a natural number 6, but the way that Gravenberch adapted to that role, it worked really well. Szoboszlai in that second half. First half was a bit hit and miss, but that second half was one of the best I've seen Szoboszlai in a Liverpool shirt. Looked like him when he first joined Liverpool. Salah on opening day, inevitable. And Jota had a good game. I think Liverpool were good in general. It was a good performance, but I want to talk about the midfield because I actually think where Slot changed at half-time, even though he didn't make a sub, was just the approach of the midfield, of how he was using Gravenberch and how he was using Szoboszlai. And it was night and day, that first half and second half performance from Liverpool. They looked really good in that second half. They could have won at 4-5-0. Now, Gravenberch had a very, very good second half. I think he was solid in the first half. I saw people giving him stick on Twitter, and I saw this massive overreaction from Liverpool fans on Twitter at half-time, because you weren't playing well, but it's half a game. It's the half a game, first game of the season. I saw people writing off their season already, which I always think so reactionary online. Just watch the full game, analyse it, look at a couple of games before you jump to conclusions. But I thought Gravenberch had a good first half. Even though people were giving him stick on the first half, I thought he was good. But I thought the second half, he was absolutely fantastic. I think Gravenberch has really, really looked good under Slot in pre-season. He looked good in the last couple of games under Klopp. And I think, as someone that watched a lot of Ajax when Gravenberch was there is a fundamentally good player there, if that makes sense. There's a very good player there with very good fundamentals that can be unlocked into an elite player. And I believe that on Gravenberch. I know a lot of Liverpool fans don't rate him or like him, but if you've watched him at Ajax like I did, trust me, I believe, and I wanted him at Man United, there's a lot in that guy. Now, I don't think he's a 6. Could he play the job as a 6 if you don't get one? Possibly, but I think if he does bad, you can't throw him under the bus for that. It's not his natural role. He's more of a ball carrier. But he was great. 9 passes into the final third, 2 accurate long balls, 6 draws, 1, 2 recoveries. I mean, I would have given Gravenberch my man of the match. It was between him and Salah, actually, because what I noticed was Gravenberch in the second half started to rotate to the left. Trent could then come inside. Trent could then go wide. It made Liverpool less predictable. And because Gravenberch was going to the left, there was overloads there. And then Trent, Szoboszlai and Salah were doing those 3v3s on the right-hand side. It was creating the overloads, and it was really causing Ipswich problems defensively. Now, Trent, we'll get into him later, but let's talk about Gravenberch. Good first half, clean, tidy, calm first half. He looked calm on the ball. I think because he barely played at Bayern Munich the season before he joined Liverpool, maybe he was even more nervy when he first joined Liverpool, but he looked really calm. His passing was good. He looked there when the rest of the Liverpool team didn't look particularly calm in that first half. He was fouled a lot of times. He was making tackles. He looked defensively solid, even though that's not his number 6 role. Now, there was issues, I think, in build-up where you could see exactly why Liverpool wanted Szoboszlai, and I think the closest they have to that is Curtis Jones, but he can move the ball quite slowly, which is something that Slot won't want. But I think the adaptations at fullback also helped Gravenberch as well, because he's not naturally someone that is your build-up number 6, but he really did do a good job there. Now, he was fouled a lot of times, he was carrying the ball well, and he does have the physical flooring to be moulded into a 6 and the technical ability to potentially be moulded into a 6, but I do think Liverpool need to go out for a Szoboszlai alternative, have Gravenberch there for depth, because the Premier League, so many games, you're in the Champions League, there's going to be injuries. I think Liverpool need a 6, I think they need a long-term Matip replacement, and I think potentially another winger, if they can get the right guy to really challenge Diaz, because while I think Diaz is a good player, his output just lacks for the sake of Liverpool. But I thought that, he was really good. I think Gravenberch and Szoboszlai in that second half were absolutely outstanding for Liverpool. I think Szoboszlai, everyone knows he's a fantastic player, but he dropped off a little bit second half of the season for Liverpool. And I think we saw the Szoboszlai that we saw last year, right at the beginning of the season for Liverpool, sort of come out today. And I do think Szoboszlai is more suited to slot ball than Klopp ball, because he can have that license to be and go a little bit further forward. And I felt that the synergy and understanding and the connection between Szoboszlai and Gravenberch and Trent looked really good. They were playing that really good one-touch football, which obviously led up to the Jota goal. But you could see them passing and moving the ball quickly. They're very good under pressure. They're very technically good. They've got very high IQs. And when those 3 players were combining with Salah, you could see the quality Liverpool had. 7 of those Ipswich players were in League One 2 years ago, starting for Kieran McKenna in League One. So obviously League One players going up to the Prem in 2 years, elite players at Liverpool. Liverpool had the quality on the pitch to win that game. They should have won the game. And you saw in the second half, look at the quality they've got in these players, look at their IQ, look at their technical ability, look at the understandings. And Slot had made tactical changes so they utilised that. Because Gravenberch, he's got the physique, he's got the footballing education being an Ajax player, he's got the IQ to potentially be moulded into a 6. But I do think, in terms of Slot's number 6, Szoboszlai, I can see why you wanted him. I also thought the way that Gravenberch took the ball off Konate in the lead up to one of the goals, I think it was Jota's goal, was really good. He took the ball and he played it forward to Trent, and I thought the Jota goal, the all-round play from Liverpool was good. There's about 2 or 3 chances you had to score before the Jota goal. Jota could have made that 3-0 because Diaz had a really good chance, and someone else, maybe Jota, had another good chance before his goal, where actually Liverpool did enough to be 3-4-0 up. But I want to talk about Szoboszlai, because that performance in the second half, first off, I don't think Szoboszlai was great. That second half performance from Szoboszlai was very good, because he was absolutely everywhere. And one thing I noticed about Szoboszlai is his ability to get from box to box. He does cover ground a lot. Arne Slot football has got a big intensity to it. And I think that Szoboszlai covers ground really well and moves from box to box really well. And that's something that he did that really impressed me. It's just generally his movement to dart forward and his unpredictability in his runs, I think, made it difficult for the Ipswich defence to mark him up. And that helped Liverpool create overloads where, going forward, it was night and day between Liverpool in the first and second half going forward. I think it was absolutely night and day. I think in the first half, you noticed that they didn't have just a natural number 6, and the movement was a little bit slower, and they were giving the ball away, and Ipswich were having transition opportunities. But in that second half, you really saw this unpredictability in Liverpool's play. They were overloading, they were causing some serious issues. And I think a lot of that came through Szoboszlai's movement and some changes tactically. I think what I noticed from Szoboszlai is he can get back, he can defend counters, he can get the ball, we can pass forward, he can play long switch to passes play, he can play, diagonal balls, he can obviously got the assist. I think he is someone that with his, decision making, I think is good. He's a good runner. He's a good carrier. He's got that sort of physical ability to run with the ball. He's obviously got a good pass on him, long and short. I think when you get him more advanced in those 10 roles and in that right half space, he seems to really thrive when he was linking with Salah, linking with Trent. And I thought he looked really sharp going forward. I thought his movement on and off the ball was really good, getting into space, finding space. And I thought that his creativity really helped Liverpool in that second half unlock that Ipswich defence. And I think that was one of the reasons Liverpool was so lethal in the second half, is because of Szoboszlai's creativity, his movement, his intensity. Maybe Ipswich tired out as well. They're not used to the intensity of the Premier League, but he was good. But I think we have to talk about Salah. I thought Trent was really good. He had a good game. I think Jota, it was good. I think the thing with Jota is the way I described Jota was solid. I've seen Jota play better than that, but he was solid. He got his goal. You know he scores. Like Diaz, if Diaz had Jota's output, like clinicalness in front of goal, Diaz would be a really good player. But Diaz does good work. The final ball lacks, whereas Jota is there to convert and put it in. That's what I think with Jota. He's solid. He's a player that if Liverpool can keep him fit. I mean, I think if Jota had stayed fit last year for Liverpool, potentially they could have took that title race a bit further. I think it was obviously they had defensive issues last year on the Klopp, but it was they could have taken the title race further maybe if Jota had stayed fit to help them be clinical. But Mohamed Salah now has 300 goal involvements and 350 games for Liverpool, and I think Salah is almost underrated. And I'm saying this as a Man United fan. I think Salah has become a little bit underrated. I mean, because I feel like Salah getting 20, 30 goals a season is the norm. So when Salah gets 20, 30 goals, nobody talks about it. But if any other player gets 20, 30 goals, everyone talks about it. Like, whoa, look how good they are. They've got 20, 30 goals. But because that is the norm for Salah, it doesn't get spoken about. For 7 consecutive seasons to perform at that level, that is very rare. You have elite players, but they have bad seasons, sometimes elite players. Hazard had a good season, had a bad season. Hazard was so hit and miss. The longevity of Salah to have the most opening day goals in Premier League history in 9. This is his 8th season at Liverpool. To be very good across all those seasons, putting man of the match performances into every single opening day. He's had to change his role at Liverpool to be more central, now Arne Slot to be more wide. Salah's lost a yard of pace because of his age, and he was still putting in a shift. Now, I think Salah, if he does struggle this season, I wouldn't be totally surprised because of his age and Slot's style of play being a bit more intense and in more adaptations to Salah's game. But at the same time, Salah has proven time and time again for Liverpool, he can adapt. He can do this. He can do that. He can adapt. And I think there's a bit of a disrespect to Salah online. People are so used to him putting up these numbers that I don't think people realise that to put up those numbers and to score that many, to do 300 goal involvements and 350 games for Liverpool in the hardest league in the world, in the Premier League, where it's probably been the most competitive it's ever been, is brilliant. And I thought, of course, Trent was fantastic. It doesn't take a genius to say Trent was fantastic. Also, I know Liverpool have a curse with 12:30 kickoff, so I don't know if that's a bonus for you guys that you won a 12:30 game. The only positive for me is that Jota's in my FPL and I got FPL points. Other than that, I was rooting for Ipswich. But I thought the Liverpool were really good. Konate was solid. Kwanzaa, I think Kwanzaa's a good player, but I think he definitely struggled a little bit. And he wasn't happy that he got taken off, unless he was injured. But the way he looked on the bench, he looked like he'd been taken off for performance. He didn't look happy. But Trent, the fact that he placed 4 or 5 passes on the money in the space of about 5 minutes in that second half, and Trent was brilliant. I think Gravenberch was great, Szoboszlai was great, Salah was great. And I think the fact that Slot made so many little adaptations at half time and the difference between your first half and second half performance shows to me that Slot has an understanding of what he's doing. So if I was a Liverpool fan, I would take that as a big positive. Let me know your thoughts down below, Liverpool fans. Smash a like, smash the subscribe. See you next time. Bye.